Yes, it's people, and welcome back to another video on the Bridge YouTube channel where we bring you all things Chelsea. Today, of course, is the review for Chelsea 1, Nottingham Forest 1. Obviously, today, I had the pleasure of going to the game today. I was in the Matthew Harden lower stand actually today behind the goal. It's a really great experience, first and foremost. Always a pleasure to go out there. But, of course, sadly, it was a frustrating draw. We'll discuss that, a bit more of the talking points and more. Now, I think for me, if I want to give you guys my overall take about the game, I have to say personally for me, I think this game was a frustrating draw. I felt like, we needed to be a bit more fast on the ball, have a bit more impotence, particularly towards the end of that second half. We need to be really able to find that nice little 1-2, whether it not be from Palmer to the winger Neto, or whether it be from Mudryk to someone else. We needed to find that a lot more quicker to make stuff happen. But that's really what I think it comes down to in terms of the frustrating draw. I think for me personally, one thing you have to give credit to Nottingham Forest for, the time wasted efficiently, the time wasted effectively, and the referee allowed them to time waste to that level as well at the end of the day. And again, as I said before, man, you cannot count on referees when it comes to Chelsea Football Club. You have to rely upon yourself to get the job done. I think for me as well, one issue that I had today was that I felt like speed. There was a lack of speed, a lack of impetus. I felt like today Jackson wasn't making the runs that I usually see from him. He was always coming way too short, was way too deep at times, wasn't doing anything. Whenever you get the ball, very lethargic. You know what I mean? I think it's Milenkovic, if I'm not mistaken, or Milivojevic, sorry, I should say. Whoever the Serbian was it international, was having a field day of Nicholas Jackson at the end of the day, cooking him, you know what I mean? And so, again, if I'm looking at stuff like that, he should have been sent, he should have been off and bringing it on QQ in the second half. That's the reality of the situation there. I feel like today, again, Madueke, thank you for getting the equalizer. I was very happy about that from you, Madueke. My issue again with you is that, again, decision making. Watching Madueke IRL, bro, my problem with him is more so when he gets the ball, he's in the wide space. He needs to be attacking it more, run more, and then you need to make sure your decision making is on point. Find that cross. Sometimes, bro, he adds too much juice to the pass, too much juice to the cross in it. Sometimes hit a low driven, bro. Hit a low driven one. Try to maybe find a spare man that's on the edge of the box for him to shoot at. You know what I mean? Decision making there is key. Sometimes not always shooting. Sometimes not always. But you know what I mean? That's what I'm trying to say to people in chat. So hopefully you guys understand that at the end of the day in regards to Madueke. Sancho today, watching Sancho was really amazing to watch. I have to say at the end of the day, my issue actually with Sancho was that I think he had a good performance. The problem with him was that, again, he needs the overlap. I don't know if it was something that Maresca told Cucurella to do, if it was something that it was informed to him to do, but Cucurella was not doing any inverting ones. No overlapping ones. He needed someone. We needed our fullback there to be making inverted and overlapping runs there to be able to create the space, to be able to get the ball and maybe hit one into the box. You know what I mean? Via the invert or just give the overlap option to give Sancho the space to get the ball into the box, to a player that's in the box to get a goal. And I felt like in this game that was not happening at all. It only happened really towards the end when it was literally Mudryk and Cucurella. So that's really one of my major criticisms, if anything, attacking wise. Another guy we need to talk about here is Enzo Fernandez. For me personally, Enzo Fernandez today was not good. Enzo Fernandez today was not good. I think for me, the thing was there, in particular when you're playing a low block, I'm looking at you now, Enzo, to be hitting me with the Loftus pass over the top. You know what I mean? Try to get Jackson to make that run, bang into him. Maybe a Palmer into him. Madueke into him. Sanch into him. You know what I'm trying to say to you? And none of that was happening really. And then defensively, he was getting caught at times. They're doing a little cheeky, you know what I mean? It was as many of you guys know, 1-2 on him. So that was my another major fundamental issue, when it came down to it for my guy Enzo. Caicedo, I think, had a good, solid performance. I think, again, if you look at the back line there, particularly Gusto today, was not good, bro. Realistically, I have to be honest today, Gusto was not good. And I think this has been a trend in general that he's not been having great performances defensively at the end of the day. And I think part of this, obviously, is that, yes, he's coming back from injury. That's a fair point to make. He's coming back to form, to full fitness. But I think another issue that we've been having is something that I've spoken about in the summer, and it's kind of been exacerbated as this earlier in the season. And what I mean by that is that we know, sadly, that Riche is a very injury-prone player. I can't rely on him. You can't rely on him. We can't rely on him, right? So we can put that to the side and keep that portion of it pushing. The problem then becomes, okay, I can't rely on this guy. Okay, we know that Bish Bash Bong, we keep it pushing. Okay, a Champong, I know Champong is really highly rated. I know a lot of clubs have been in for him. He's a top player, he's a top talent, but it seems, at least to me, yeah, that right now he's not. Maresca does not maybe think that he's ready right now, because if he thought he was ready, he'd probably be on the bench and be able to take off Gusto at times to do so. And then the problem becomes, if you're Gusto, you already know you're right back number one. There's no one really threatening your place. You know you can play on a week in, week out basis. And sometimes, particularly when you're a young player, that means you lose that, that hummy, that desire to get better. You know what I mean? You need to have competition. You know what I mean? One thing I always say, particularly in football, competition is good. This is why, by the way, I always make the argument that even before the summer and the transfer window, I was saying we need a backup right back or someone to compete with Gusto, because we could not rely on Reece James. And I feel like we're seeing that right now in action at the end of the day. I think Cole today was a good performance. Sanchez today, I can't really complain about him. We had some really good saves at the end of the day. Kukurea, I think, was a solid player today. Solid performance from him. I do think, though, both our fullbacks at times, one thing I've noticed is that they sometimes give way too much space to the wingers, which allows them to put the ball into the back of the net. Put the ball into the box, I should say. Gives them a lot of space, gives them that time to put the ball into the corner, and then bang, that gives them an opportunity for the header, which is not a good thing at the end of the day. So let's be honest about that at the end of the day, boys and girls. So at least on my aspect, that's like obviously the players speaking on that. I think for me, Maresca, if I'm looking at you, my manager, issue I had with you, bro, sub should have happened earlier. That should have been off earlier. Enzo should have been off earlier. You should have been bringing in Cuckoo. Dewsbury Hall should have probably come on today. I'll be honest. I know that's a hot take, but we needed another number 8 here, other than Palmer, who could do that creative aspect of getting the 1-2 into with the winger or with the inverting fullback to then break that low block and get something happening. Obviously Felix was trying to do that at times, but I don't think Felix is that type of guy. He's more so someone that wants to drive at people. You need to get someone that's willing to do the quick 1-2 and that's got a little bit of pace to do so. And that was unironically Kane and Dewsbury Hall. I hate to use, if that makes sense. And so for me personally, right, that was another issue that we had. I think for me, again, listen, I'm not really that worried. I think it's a blip in the road, something that we'll come back from. Again, it's just, listen, it's game week 6 or 7, if I'm not mistaken. It's going to take time. We're still fourth on the table. We still need time to develop. You're going to international break. You've got some hard tests coming up. Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle, they're all coming up. That's where the real test is going to be for me. And I think for me, if you're Chelsea right now, I need for Maresca, if I'm making any tweaks, probably going to be Lavia in for Enzo, because I feel like, guys, yeah, so obviously, as you know, I went to the game today and it really made me realize, bro, Enzo's kind of like surplus to requirements. We don't really need him. You know what I mean? We don't need what he brings to the table right now in the starting 11. I know that's a crazy take to be having, chat, but generally watching the game today, that's what it made me realize, bro. We don't necessarily need him, bro, if that makes sense. The other thing I have to speak about as well is that obviously, my guy Jackson, watching him today, I really felt like, bro, he's sometimes a bit too lethargic on the ball. He needs to be a bit more, spry, be ready, be actionable, try to keep moving, try to make movements. He does get a little bit frustrated at times, it seems. And I think for me, at the end of the day, yes, Nottingham Forest are a good side. We need to give them that credit. They came to play haram football. They won, and they got the job done there. They could have almost scored. They could have, yeah. If Merrick had not scored, let that game end 1-0 to them, and they could have gotten the 3 points, much like how they did against Liverpool. So I think, if anything, it's a positive what's happened. And again, these are blips that are meant to be happening to us, boys. Again, we are a team that's in developmental process. We're trying to get top 4 this season as a minimum to help us, again, continue to gain that trajectory that we need to do to win the title. So I think for me personally, again, we're waiting to see what's going to happen. Going to take a little bit of time. It's going to be a bit cheeky for us at the end of the day, but hopefully we can reach that level and we're on to Liverpool and we'll just keep put this game into the back of their mind. And I think Maresca in his interview was kind of like, his post-match interview was trying to do that, trying to take the positives out of it. And hopefully he learns from this himself and to realize he needs to make subs a lot quicker, a lot faster to happen. So hopefully he learns that. And I think that's pretty much all I can say about the game review. Obviously, we'll discuss this a bit more detail tomorrow on my live stream. Make sure you're there. And make sure, guys, as you're obviously watching the video, to continue to like, share, subscribe, tell a friend, to help me out as always. I've been your host and Mr. Bridge T58. Dedicate your hearts. And as always, please make sure to stay blue and keep the blue flag. Sorry.